first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. Hi, so I have decided to start doing a series that I want to call 12 Days of Christmas, which will be from the 13th, which is today obviously, till the 25th, where I will upload a special video on my main channel and probably like a go watch that video on this channel. So I really hope you like it. Today I'm just going to show you my book collection because I had no ideas and I was just kind of tidying my room and books. First of all, this is the book I'm reading at the moment, which is The Maze Runner by James Dasher. I have read this before, but I hadn't read The Scorch Trials or The Death Cure, I think it is. So this isn't actually my book, this is my friend Kaya's book, and I've been borrowing it for quite a while, and I'm reading it so slowly because I read it at first and it was really good. And I got so into it, but then I watched the film, and that's why I decided not to read the rest of the books, because the film was so much different, and I'm obsessed with like Thomas Sangster and Dylan O'Brien and literally every actor in that film. Like, oh my god, the first film, so many actors I love. Now I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna read the books, it'll be cool. And because of that, I'm reading this so slowly. Because every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh, I know this, but I have to reread it because there are some bits in the book that I have forgotten. And I started reading the second one, I was like, right, okay, this makes no sense. But other than that, it's such a good book. Like, seriously, if you haven't read it, read it, but it is different to the film. Next, I have The Scorch Trials, which is my favourite film of the Maze Runner series so far, because I just love the whole idea of it, and it's like, a lot of people prefer the first one, but it's just so good, and I went to see it in 4D with my best friend, so that went really well. And it's also by James Dasher, of course, because it is the second Maze Runner, and I haven't read this one yet, but I think it'll be really good, and honestly it's a must read for the Hunger Games, as it says on here. Next, I have Paper Towns, which the book is a lot better than the film in my personal opinion, but the film kind of goes on a bit of a tangent, but they're really similar, but it's one of those things that it's better to imagine. I did have the original cover, but then I lost it, and I lent it to a friend and she wrecked it, and I'm never going to lend it to that friend ever again. She loves books, or she claims she loves books, and then she folded the pages. No doing that, that is bad. So I had to get this version. Next, another book by John Green is The Fault in Our Stars, which again got wrecked by one of my friends after I let her borrow it because it had the protective cover and she pulled it off. And if you can't see, it has all the white marks on it, and I really hate that, but I'm still, like, after Christmas I'm just going to buy another copy and get rid of this one or give it to someone. This is honestly one of my favourite books, and I don't know if I prefer the book or the film because they're both incredible. I think I like them just as much as each other. Next is a book that I actually struggled to read at first, and I haven't read any of the others, but it's a really good book, but it's just something that I think I'm never going to actually read the others. I might one day, but I'm never going to get around to it. If I buy them I might, but you know. It's called I Tell You I Love You But Then I'd Have to Kill You. It's hard to explain, so I'll just read the blurb. Do you ever feel like you're invisible? I know I do. Just call me Cammy the Chameleon. But at my effing school, that's seen as cool. Why? Because the Gallagher Academy might say it's for geniuses, but it's really a school for spies. Next is a book by my favourite author, Clark, called Entangled. I really love this book, and it is so good, and honestly it's like a massive read for teenagers, and it's kind of got like all of that teenage problems in it as well as it being a fantasy, and it is so good. I love it so much. Like, honestly, one of my favourite books. Read it. Next is a book that I bought in primary school because I used to have a dog called Lithia who was a Springer Spaniel, and I just wanted to read a book about a Springer Spaniel, and it's called Shadow and it's by Michael Morpurgo, and honestly it is one of the most incredible books I've ever read. I did read this in primary school and I got very glued into it, and I think I might read it again because there was a lot of things that like were higher than my understanding at that point, and honestly it's so great. It's literally about this dog. I think it's Afghanistan, and like his father's at war, or the dog's owner's at war, and oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. Next is one of the books in the Harry Potter series. I used to have all the Harry Potter books, but I don't know what happened to them. Like, I read them all, or most of them, when I was younger, and I don't know if I prefer the book series or the films, but I think I'm going to go films because when I read these I didn't have much of an imagination. If I read them now, I don't know. I really don't know. J.K. Rowling just, oh, stop with the amazingness. But I've got more of these. I've got, this is The Prisoner of Azkaban. Then here we have The Goblet of Fire, which is one of my favourite films actually. And then we also have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which is one of my favourite films as well. Next is a book that I would recommend to anybody, to be honest. I read this quite a while ago. I think I was in year 8 when I read this, and it's so good. And it's called Hidden. This is where I found one of my favourite names, which is the name Ebony. It's such a beautiful name. And I think the boy was also called Jordan, which is one of my favourite names as well. So that was great. But this book is so good, and it's a really good fantasy. And honestly, just, oh my god. The only thing I didn't like about this book was the ending made me wanting more, which this book hasn't done. Next, I have the After series, which is by Vienna Todd, and I read these from when the second book was like on its 50th update or something, and I loved them so much and I got so glued into it, and I only have the first two because I thought when I got this I'd get really into it, but apparently not. It still smells like new book. Oh my god, this was the part with the massive letter that Harding gave to Tessa. Or Harry. Harding now, because he's got a hard on. Next I have a manga which I really love, and honestly it's just great, and it's a really good anime as well if you've seen the anime. And the bookmark's right in front, I don't know why. The pictures in this are so good, it's unreal, like honestly. So good, I love these. Next I have Demi Lovato's Staying Strong 365 Days a Year book, which is just incredible, and it helped me through some hard times actually. And when I'm sad, I'll just go to the day which is in a year and I'll read it. And if that one doesn't help, I'll go back a few and I'll just read through it. And honestly, it's so good. I think I've read like page and page so many times, because I'm like, oh, it's so good, but there's probably some pages that I've only read once and some that I've read twice, but let's open one and see what it can do. It is easier to prevent bad habits than to break them. Now is the time to give up bad habits. They're only hindering your recovery. Sometimes we don't even realise what our bad habits do to us. We have a fear of letting them go, but now is the time to set them aside. Goal: do an inventory of your habits. Are they positively affecting your life? I love Demi Lovato so much, it's unreal. Next we have Gumline, which I love, and I just really want to read the second one because this was one of my favourite books ever, and I'm borrowing it off Jenny hopefully Friday because we keep saying she's going to let me borrow it. And then not, but after Christmas I am going to buy it, but I just want to read it really soon. So I'm going to buy a Gumline on top because this is so good. And you know what? Zoe had some really good ideas, though she may have had a ghostwriter or however the story goes. It's just so many good ideas in this book, and oh, I just love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Next is another YouTube book, which is The Amazing Book Is Not on Fire, which is actually such a good book because it's just like an insight of their lives. Oh, good page to open up on, eh? That's literally my favourite chapter. Though I do not appreciate the Vegas part of the book, to be quite honest with you. And you can see that I have another one back there. That was the one I bought online, and this one I bought in stores, and that one I had untouched until Dan and Phil opened it. Like, I touched it obviously, but I didn't open it. And this was one I read, and I read it all straight on. I wouldn't talk to anybody. Whenever somebody came into my room, I would just ignore them. I wouldn't even look at them. 4 hours. It took me about 4 hours and 10 minutes to read this whole thing because I spent about, I'm not even kidding you, I spent half an hour trying to read Dan's handwriting. So if not, it would have taken like 3.5 hours, maybe 3 hours 40 minutes. But honestly, it's so good, and it has a good page, spoilers by the way, it has a page where you just look at your month and your day and watch YouTube video ideas there are. Maybe we could do that soon. I don't know, they're all really bad and I'm kind of scared because I did do it once, but I forgot what it was. All I know was it would be really hard. Finally is a book that I really love, which is 5 Seconds of Summer. Hey, Let's Make a Band. The only thing about this book is it's still got the tally, which I really miss, but fucking copyright stole that tally off them. And they look so young, but they're not even young here. It's just compared to now, they've changed so much. But this book, honestly, it has, oh, I'm scared. It has some incredibly funny things in it. And, oh, nice picture there, Mikey. And yeah, oh, it still smells like new book. But this is one of my favourite chapters actually, which is Hiding Out a Dream, because you can't see it from there. And oh my god, they look so young. You know what, I was just like, oh my god guys, this is amazing, I'm so proud of you. And now they've released a film. Just, I cannot be more proud of them. I love them. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, that's pretty much all the books I have right here to show, and I really hope you like this video, and I'll be back tomorrow with a new video. Bye!